All right. Doesn't that get you in the hit you right in the nostalgia?
Yeah. Jeez.
I'll be honest. At the time, I did not like Minutes to Midnight because it was so different from from the first two Linkin Park albums. But as years have gone on, I've learned to like it more. But yeah, like that. That being the song they ended the first live action movie with. That was, as the kids love to say, hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't enough for you to be nostalgic enough to have Transformers Infiltration be the subject of today.
Yeah, we should be talking about that actually. Yes. So, all right. So yeah, that has. So yeah, we are talking about the first of the IDW universes versus comics, which would be Transformers Infiltration. This is
Which
yeah.
which by now it's old enough to drink.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Matt, since you're one of the few people in our circle who's sort of an expert on the history of this franchise, why don't you tell us like the state Transformers was in at the time and how much of a deal this comic was when it came out?
Well, the comic is not in a great shape considering how Dreamwave went bankrupt while producing the first uh, their ongoing series.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess to make it up to Simon Furman, who likely wasn't being paid during those months, Hasbro just I gave it to IDW, who decided to give Simon Furman his shot to creating his own version of the universe.
Mm-hmm. And if you're a Transformers fan, Simon Furman needs no introduction.
He basically came up with a lot of the popular stuff that made it into the future shows. Primus, Unicron as a god of chaos, the Fallen.
Yeah. Like to say his work is foundational to Transformers is kind of an understatement, isn't it?
Yeah. He also created the Wreckers, who I don't know why Michael Bay decided to make them engineers in his movie, but
Yeah.
the Wreckers were perfect for the kind of mayhem he's known for.
Yeah. Which, as an as an aside, we need to bring up when this comic was published just to really kind of set it at the stage, because you might be getting the impression, okay, this can't that IDW rolls out a new Transformers comic to capitalize on the hype from the new movie. That is not quite true. Because
No,
the
in fact, it was during the production of the movie that this came out.
yeah, the movie came out in 2007. This miniseries was published, I believe. I'm checking the Transformers wiki, and it's loading in a little bit slowly. But if I remember correctly, it's between 2003 and 2004.
Infiltration?
Yeah. No, wait.
No, it was more like
No.
2005 to 2006.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Okay, first it started publishing in October 2005 and finished in July of 2006. So yeah, if they were trying to ride the hype of the movie, they were a little too early.
I am going to point out that 2003 was the year that Pat Lee was screwing over all of the writers and artists working for Dreamwave.
Mm, yeah. All right. All right. So I guess the big question is so IDW winds up getting the license from Dreamwave, and they decide to give Simon Furman his shot at making his own Transformers universe the way he wanted to do so. Did they kind of start out with giving it a mini-series just because they weren't sure how successful it actually would be?
Yeah, that's kind of how they do things with Transformers. The Marvel comics start off as a 4-issue miniseries that became popular enough that they decided to do an entire series, which they make fun of with the final issue of the original run being issue 79 of a 4-issue run.
I mean, let's not bring up that during its peak, the Marvel comic was so popular, the UK had its own separate version.
Yeah. And that was where Simon Furman came from, the UK version. He was a writer for Marvel UK. Came up with... He was a Transformers guy. But he also created the character Death's Head.
And that guy is that guy is a whole mess of legalities and other crap.
Yep.
Because he was clearly created to be a Transformers character, but Marvel, being Marvel, had to be sneaky and grab ownership. And since, as far as I know, not really done anything with them.
Same thing with a number of characters that were created for Marvel Comics Transformers.
Oh yeah, there's a whole list of those. But yeah. All right, so I guess we should probably get the show on the road with this. So, this is gonna be a PDF of, I think, a trade paperback that collects all the issues. How many do they give Infiltration again?
I think it was 4 or 5.
Let's still. All right, let me look. I'm gonna look this up.
I have the physical copy right here.
Oh, it's a 6, but if you include the 0 issue, it's 7.
Okay. Yeah, at the same time, they also were doing a Beast Wars comic that Dreamwave promised but never delivered on.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because they were too busy going broke.
Oh god, yeah. All right, so this is the issue 0 cover. And we've got some pretty well-known Decepticons on here. I see Astro Train, Blitzwing, Starscream. I have no idea who this black guy in the bottom right corner is. As I want to say maybe Barricade, but I don't think. But I don't think
it might be Runamuck.
Yeah.
Let me.
Yeah, we'll probably find out. How
about it's Runabout.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So yeah. Let's move on. Okay. So, Infiltration. Okay, yeah. Written by Simon Furman, art by E.J. Sue. Not too familiar with him. Colors by John Rock, I don't know how that's pronounced. Alright. And I guess these are all the ones we're going to be seeing in this comic. So yeah. It was there's Runabout, Runamuck, Starscream, Thundercracker, here for the Decepticons, and on the Autobots we've got Ratchet and Prowl. Alright. Infiltration. They are among us here, now. They have been on Earth for more than 2 years. The populace at large unaware of their presence or their terrifying intentions. An advanced guard of alien mechanoids, in forms designed to mimic local forms of transportation, communications, hardware, and weaponry, instigated a stage plan of staggering proportions. Phase 1 has begun. You know, Matt, this is going to be a bit of a tangent, but I think this might be worth bringing up. Are you familiar with the alternate treatment the Transformers TV show had?
Yes.
Yeah,
That would have been awful.
uh, yeah, we won't get too into the details, but something that I've heard that it at least sort of delivered on was that it really kind of delivered on the premise of them being robots in disguise, because you could never ever tell what was just a normal vehicle and what was a transformer. Whereas in the cartoon we got, they were always walking about like it was no big deal. I have to wonder if Furman was kind of aware of that and took some inspiration from it.
I just want to point out that it's not. Issue 0 is not in the physical trade paperback.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess it's just with the PDF version then.
Yeah, I guess they didn't. They decided that it's not. It wasn't worth putting it in.
Do you feel it? We open on Phoenix, Arizona. I'll say this, the colors definitely make it look about as hot as Phoenix actually is.
Yeah.
Alright, so and this is where we are about to get introduced to one of our protagonists.
Oh wait, issue 0 is in this.
Ah!
I got confused because it said the characters in it were Ratchet and Prowl doesn't come until later in the comic.
Okay. Alright, so here's this girl is going to be one of the protagonists of this comic. Should we introduce her?
Might as well.
Alright. You are more familiar with it than I am.
Basically, Verity Carlos is your typical troubled runaway teenager.
Hmm.
And she also is the reason why the human characters are getting involved, because she steals something from a Decepticon agent.
Ooh. That is watching not her, but he's looking for something that this guy clearly has. So yeah. Yeah, don't need to go too deep into this. She's on the bus. She steals from the guy's bag and gets away. And of course, yeah, we see the thing she took. It's this Palm Pilot. Oh God, remember when those were a thing?
Yep. Funny thing is that she's the only character that comes of the human characters that comes back in later IDW comics. That's not done by Furman.
Get the sense that either she was the most popular one or the one the writers liked the most.
Well, considering how IDW comics turned out, I'm gonna say probably because they want to call back to the first miniseries, but they decided not to have two of the main human characters involved, but just her.
Mm-hmm. All right. Would this be a good time to sort of comment on the art here? Like, I'm not too I'm not too familiar with EJ Sue, but yeah, like you said, it's not bad. Like, it's not amazing. It's not amazing art for a Transformers comic, but it could look a hell of a lot worse.
Well, yeah, it could be Pat Lee.
Look, it's not Don Figueroa, but
the thing is, it's difficult to do both human and robot.
Yeah. Oh man, like, okay, like as an example, like Like, how familiar are you with Matt Frank?
Not too.
Okay, so he's pretty well known for his Godzilla comics. His kaiju designs are great, but getting to draw a person and it looks kind of wonky. So yeah, like I said, the art is not gonna be winning Eisner's, but it's fine.
Yeah. And it's also a Transformers comic. You're not going. You shouldn't expect or at least at this time, high a high standard on art.
Yeah. Although I will say the colors, I mean, like, not too, again, not too bad. They definitely do a lot of the lifting for atmosphere and such. But yeah. Okay, so yeah.
At least we know who drew it, though.
Yeah. All right, so yeah. So yeah, I think we can assume there's some kind of Decepticon thing in that Palm Pilot.
Oh yeah.
All
Which
right.
is what gets them all in trouble.
And this is where we get introduced to our other protagonist. Just
Hunter, who clearly is hung up upon his family name, Onion.
he says it's
Yeah, I
Oninen.
know. I'm making a joke about that.
Or Onihen. Onihen or something. Yeah. To be fair, yeah. I mean, like, to be fair, yeah. That's you could get onion out of that pretty easily. Yeah. Huh. She was on a bus from Phoenix bound for L.A. and she wound up in Oregon.
You know, the thing about the comic is that it's also not too clear about where you are because Oregon could also mean that's where the Decepticons are.
Oh, I don't know. I'm getting the impression that I'm getting the impression this thing is related to the gadget. But, yeah, I guess that, but yeah, like this, I think yeah, we should also kind of get this out of the way. If you're expecting the kind of action we got with the 2007 movie, that is not going to be in this comic. Like this is going to
At
be
least,
it's a slow burn.
at least it's not the human characters aren't completely unlikable.
Um, I hate that I can't disagree with you on that. Yeah. But yeah, like yeah, we're not gonna be. It's gonna be a while before some actual Transformers action happens. But
Yeah, because that's what Simon Thurman intended. It was the title of the book is for the first phase of the battle of the war on our world.
mm,
Both sides would infiltrate the planet, and once that phase is done, they go to the next one.
okay, so Hunter apparently seems to believe in aliens, and not just. And oh, they found the bus. Found the bus again.
Yep. Would you believe that Decepticons were the cause of it?
Absolutely. So yeah, Hunter believes in aliens and he actually believes in the Transformers, even though he doesn't know what they really are.
Yeah, pretty much he's the conspiracy theorist who is on the right path, but doesn't know how right he is. but also how wrong he is.
And 2-page spread of them getting clipped by, I am going to assume, Thundercracker.
I mean, it's definitely not it's not purple, so it couldn't be Skywarp.
Oh yeah, I can see the blue like right here on the outline. But yeah. Now as
and
much
Starscream is the commander of the unit, so he's not gonna get his hands dirty.
well yeah. Now like I said, now as much as I said the EJ Sue's art was kind of so-so, this is actually pretty gorgeous. Like this, if you could take out that sound effect, this would make a pretty boss wallpaper.
Yeah, I am pretty certain he was hired for his ability to draw Transformers.
Well, duh, that's what you would expect someone working on a Transformers book to do.
You'd be surprised, especially in IDW's later work.
Alright, so yeah, they barely... So yeah, they get clipped by Thundercracker and can just barely survive. And, oh, I wonder who that could be. It looks like they...
Not everyone's favorite party medic.
Yeah. And it also seems like they found the thing they were looking for. They take out the van. Verity he just wants to surrender. And Hunter's just correctly calling out that they are not going to take surrender as an option.
No, they definitely are not.
Thank you. Keep running, and look, ambulance. Yeah, you guys get 3 guesses who that is, and the first 2 don't count. And of course, got to do a Terminator callback.
Oh yeah, you have to make that kind of pop culture reference, especially during the time that Joss Whedon was big.
And now I think we're at the official... Yep, we're at issue 1. And that would be Runabout and Run Amok. That's a nice looking variant cover. Wonder who did that. Variant cover by Guido Guidi. He with Bumblebee.
Yep, he's another artist that came from Dreamwave.
Yeah, and he's really good too.
Oh yeah. He did a lot of the Generation 1 comics, and I think also Armada as well.
Yeah. And
Hey, remember when it was $2.99 for a comic?
oh god. Oh, colors by Josh Bertram also works on this one too. Yeah, Josh Bertram's done some art too. He's kind of got a Derek Wyatt sort of style to it, to his stuff. You know, his stuff looks like Transformers animated. Well, sadly, I checked out his Twitter page and he said he is more or less retired.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because I liked his Beast Wars comic.
I think a lot of the people who started on the IDW have retired. Don Figueroa no longer draws professionally.
Like, god damn. Damn, I don't think there is a book that is more brutal to its creators than Transformers.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the companies.
Alright, so yeah. Runaway Verity Carlo has acquired a Palm computer, but the salesman from whom she stole it is far more than meets the eye. Now Bolshevik and conspiracy theorist Hunter O'Neill have been targeted by a covert Decepticon infiltration unit, and their only hope of survival lies with Autobot medic Ratchet, out on his own and in too deep.
You know, it's a weird thing to have the issue 0 be so important.
Usually, like, issue zeros are given out, like, sort of as promotional material, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, the stuff they give in is, like, maybe it adds a little more context or a little bit more detail, but it's not something you usually need to understand the story.
The War Within issue 0 was the in-between, in the middle of the trade paperback.
What the hell? That's confusing.
Well, it was basically a conversation between Grimlock and Starscream, where it's discovered that Grimlock used to be a Decepticon.
Huh. That explains some things. Also, looks like the coloring's a little better here too. Like it's a lot more like everything's a lot sharper and more crisp. All right. In a nutshell, planet Earth was invaded 3 years ago, or 3 million. It depends on which of many theories you subscribe to, by giant alien mechanoids able to disguise themselves as Terran vehicles. And they're still here doing whatever such beings do for who knows what reasons. It sounds preposterous, right? Inconceivable, but I believe. Ha ha ha, look in the background. You don't notice it?
Hold on.
First panel in the background.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's definitely supposed to be Mulder.
Oh, Mulder, if he was a little bit more if he was a bit more socially adjusted. Okay. Alright, so now they're in Southeast California. Yeah, and they're hitching a ride with Ratchet.
When Ratchet wants to move, he moves.
I will say this, issue 0 at least kind of provides context for how Verity and Hunter got into this.
Yeah.
Like you just went in if you just went into issue 1 blind, you'd be kind of thrown for a loop.
Which is why I found it very odd that was issue 0.
Yeah. It does yeah. I mean, would you say you kind of need it that badly, or do you think the story works fine without it?
They kind of just throw you into it with issue 1.
I mean, if the idea is to sort of put us in is to make us feel as confused as Verity and Hunter, it's doing that pretty well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I like it better with that introduction. Like issue 0 doesn't reveal anything too huge. It's like it teases you just enough, and it at least sort of gives context to how they got into this.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you look at it, how you want to look at the story. If you want to go in blind, you go to issue 1. If you want to know the context, you go with issue 0.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if you had your choice, which do you think is better?
Story-wise, I'd say issue 0.
All right. So, yeah. Okay, so
But it also, I guess it also sets the tone for what Furman has planned, because a lot of the storyline is seated in the Transformers Spotlight series.
Mm. We'll likely get to that in another show. But yeah. So yeah, Hunter has figured out that the guy who saved them is probably not human.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And
Ambulance coming down nowhere like that.
Yep. Yep. And then they get attacked by Runabout and Runamuck. Thanks to Transformers Prime, I can't read Ratchet's dialogue without having Jeffrey Combs' voice in my head.
Yeah, pretty much.
God, if I wasn't nursing a cold, I would try to do an impression. So, yeah. Is it asking if he can trust them? Is Ratchet going to be he's not revealing himself completely, but there, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're starting to see the idea there is more going on here with this guy. All right.
So the funny thing is,
yeah,
it seems like the idea for Transformers Prime was also stated in this, with having 3 human allies.
That would be interesting if that's true. Alright. So, yeah. Runabuck and Runabout are going to play rough for a bit. So they fight and they fight and they fight and they fight and they fight.
Yep. And in this case, they just bash each other in a car crashes.
And Thundercracker's back.
Of course, they need air support against an ambulance.
And apparently Ratchet's also equipped with a smoke screen. I would think the actual Transformer named Smokescreen would have that gadget.
I figure it'd probably be standard evasion.
Alright, so now they gotta find a place to hide so that Ratchet can get fixed up. And Verity pulls out the Palm Pilot.
And which is rather odd that she's got there's white in her mouth.
Hmm? Oh.
I
Oh, yeah, I see it. Like, yeah, that does look a little weird.
I when it happens to Hunter, you could explain it away as teeth, but she's got massive teeth if it's like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have to wonder, does this look like it was drawn back when, like, tablets were starting to become more normalized? Or does it look like it was still drawn by hand?
It's probably by hand. I don't know.
2005,
Yeah.
2006, probably.
Time.
Yeah, because it's like they didn't think. Yeah, I mean, like, if it was drawn by hand, it'd be, like, too small to try and fill in the details there. I'm trying to think of a way they could have gotten around this. I mean, if they just used black, that would have looked weird too. It's an issue where you've got to fill it in with something. Thing. All right. Yeah, so Ratchet contacts, I'm guessing, Ironhide. Alright, for help, and he's like, request denied. Alright, and Verity finds a place they can hide out, Riverside. And I'm guessing this is protagonist number 3.
Yeah. They basically go to a mechanic friend.
Yeah. Like, they're bring him in, bring Ratchet in so he can get looked at. Guy's gonna help fix Ratchet up. Easy enough. They're not sure if they can trust him. And Verity actually has a history with this Jimmy guy. I mean, so he's at least one person she trusts. She doesn't trust
Which
Ratchet.
Yeah, which really says a lot about how trustworthy a guy Jimmy is. Because if someone is troubled as Verity is, definitely a good guy.
Mm-hmm. And it seems Hunter suspects something is going on with that Palm Pilot.
Oh, considering how suspicious he's been about it, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And the cons are still looking for it.
All that anyone will know once they see that Starscream's in charge is what the plan is about.
Mm-hmm.
Taking over leadership of the Decepticons, of course.
Like he always does.
Yep. So, despite things looking being changed, there is certain aspects of characterization that stay the same. Starscream's always gonna be the sneaky bastard.
Yeah, I think like the only time they actually broke that mold was Armada.
And for the most part, it was the Japanese involvement with that.
A lot of people have fond memories of that version.
He was a different version.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you could say that about all the other ones, but aside from that, they've kept his character pretty consistent across different versions. Like
Yep.
he's always sneaky or groveling.
Except later on in the IDW comics, which I don't know. I'm not a fan of what they did after
Again,
Maximum Dinobot.
and that's a discussion for another time. All right. So Jimmy wants to know more about Ratchet. Jet Verity still doesn't believe him. Which honestly, I think her skepticism's pretty justified because you could hand wave that Decepticon attack away as just guys doing it. You didn't see him transform at all.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of weird how an F-22 got involved.
Again, yeah, but so far nothing that really sort of confirms Hunter's conspiracy theory. Until Ratchet decides to do just that.
Which is when all the fun happens.
And there is Starscream in there.
Plotting more mischief.
And now Verity believes them. Because she just met a Decepticon. But which one? Let's run about and run amok. They found him.
Again, Starscream would not do his own dirty work.
Run about and run amok. Like, they're, crap, I'm trying to remember. Like, I know Decepticons turn into cars isn't that unusual. But I think, like, that's mostly, like, what the Stunticons, and I don't think they're part of that team.
They're not.
They had to be from, like, one of the later lines, because Hasbro, like, acquired a bunch of different toy lines and just rebranded them as Transformers. Another Guido Guidi cover with Thundercracker this time.
You're gonna see a lot of those.
Oh, I bet. And, variant cover with Ratchet. I mean, with Prowl. Fuck. What? I want to know who did this one. And we've got more. Now we're adding Ironhide, Sunstreaker, and Blitzwing. Come on. Could you guys list off who does the variants?
That'd be too simple.
Literally every other comic company does that. What happened?
But
Did you... I heard something that sounded like you dropped from the... Like you dropped from the view.
no, I still there.
Okay, just check. That was weird.
That's yeah.
Alright. Okay. Alright, so they are going... You know, this is so... You know what? This is kind of similar to the setup from the first from the first live action movie.
Yeah.
Like they were... Because like in the first live action movie, Decepticons were hunting down Sam to get the glasses. How likely do you think it is they got an early glimpse at the script?
Probably not very likely.
So these being similar is probably more coincidence than anything.
Yeah. I don't know. I suppose in a way it depends on how much they want to tie into the upcoming movie.
Well, we have already established this came out before the movie was released. So if they were trying to ride the hype, they were way too early to that.
Well, it's more like they'd have something to point at a comic shop for if someone was curious in reading more Transformers comics, but also wanted something similar to the movie that would come out in 2007.
Yeah.
It might sound overly complicated, but Hollywood does that sometimes, as well as Hasbro. You should look at some of the Transformers they've got now.
Yeah. Ugh. So Ratchet finally transforms, and it's like, oh crap, I forgot. Where are we? Are we like at issue 2 or 3 now?
Probably two,
Let me double check. Yeah, 2.
because you had issue 0,
Right.
then 1, then 2.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, issue 2, and Ratchet finally transforms.
I think everyone can see why Stormbringer was set on Cybertron.
And we'll get to that at another show. So yeah. Now they all believe Hunter.
It turns out sometimes a crazy conspiracy theorist is right.
Unfortunately, Jimmy lost his garage. Oh dear, and the guy that Verity took the Palm Pilot from is dead.
Yeah.
And it appears there is some shadowy organization or cabal watching this too.
Oh, they're gonna be important later on. A lot of infiltration is basically setting up story plot lines.
I mean, doing a ton of setups, doing setup in the intro is not a bad thing for a large. I mean, for a larger universe, yeah, that's not always a bad thing, but you'd still should at least deliver a satisfying a story that's more or less self-contained.
Yeah,
Like, like you can hint at other things happening in the background, but if it's all set up, then it's gonna feel very unfulfilling.
I think Simon Furman was going for a more experimental route with his Transformers miniseries.
Mm. We'll find out if the story is worth getting through. Yep. On the run, on the run, on the run, and Thundercracker again. Symphony of Destruction. That's a Megadeth song.
Huh.
You've never listened to Megadeth much, have you?
No.
Okay, so Run Amok and Runabout, they are not. They're going like, screw stealth, we're just gonna smash through everything to get that Palm Pilot.
It's got important information for him.
Yeah. And it turns out Oregon was the Decepticon base.
Yeah, they really should have made it more clear.
And Starscream's got his hands on some kind of ore.
Which, could be a prototype for a different kind of energon that other stories would go by.
Yeah, in fact, this stuff is going to be very important to the overall all narrative and of running through the different comics, especially for one particular Decepticon mad scientist.
Yep. Who does get his own spotlight.
Destiny, Blitzwing, is within my grasp, and I'll let nothing and no one deny me now. What kind of...
definitely got that whole mega called.
Of course you expect me to be an egomaniac. What kind of alien death war machine are you? Alien, I'm a medic, I prefer. And it looks like a very familiar semi-truck is joining the fight.
You want it to be Optimus Prime.
It's not.
But it's not.
It's just a truck.
Yep. It was kind of a fake out. And if it was Optimus Prime, it'd be pretty interesting. Since that's the laser Optimus Prime design.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's like a rare action figure that was like only available in Japan, I think.
No, it's available in the US. It's just that it was retooled as Nemesis Prime for the Robots in Disguise series in 2001.
And it looks like Verity's had it up to here with this shit.
I don't blame her.
Gotta hand it to you, Carly. You really know how to blow up my skirt. There I was, one day of idle mechanical malfeasance blurring into the next, and you pop up with a bona fide vehicle of extraterrestrial origin. See, it's not stuff like that that scares us, it's ordinary everyday life. I've spent the greater part of my 18 years on this planet fighting the ennui that rips 99% of the population. You and me, he belong out here, on the edge. There's a word for our sort, some new age PC bit of psychobabble. Honk. Oh yeah, that's it, freak. And I'm gonna assume that truck wasn't Motormaster.
No, they'd be dead if it was.
Yeah. Okay, so. Alright, so now we formally get introduced to Ratchet. Oh, they do.
We already know him.
Yeah, we know. Well, yeah, we know him. They don't. And Thundercracker's back. And Ratchet's apparently not trying to evade his missile.
Yeah, because he had his own plan going on.
Oh, and look! Alright. Yep. Ironhide, Prowl, and Bumblebee. Yes, Hunter, they are friends. And, oh wait, the yellow one was Sunstreaker.
Also known as a very vain one.
Oh, I'm stupid. I should have known. They said that at the beginning of the issue. Sure, that Sunstreaker was going to be in this. How dumb I am so dumb. And Ratchet's apparently under arrest for 7 counts of misconduct. You know, I have often said that that Prowl should be written more like Odo. This is getting close to that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they decided to ruin it in IDW by having him be more of a secretive spy master.
They wrote him more like Garrick.
Yep. That's honestly the one thing I really didn't like about IDW is that they did not like the idea of consistency.
And Ratchet says something siege mode, which gets Prowl concerned, and Decepticon base.
Yeah, basically that's the sign of the Decepticons getting ready to attack to do a complete invasion.
Issue 3, main cover with Prowl on it. Guido Guidi variant cover with Blitzwing and Jazz. That looks really cool. Just a tank. That's kind of lame.
It's Blitzwing intake mode.
Oh, yeah. Seriously, who the hell drew this? I want to know.
I know, right?
Wiki's got to say something about this. Let's see. Yeah. Da 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 da. It doesn't say.
Well, maybe the Transformers wiki will help.
I'm looking at the wiki right now. It doesn't. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Covers. Alright, here's one with that art style. James Reyes.
Oh, he was also a former Dreamwave artist.
You didn't recognize him, huh?
It's been a while since I've actually seen his work.
Ooh, and we have more characters. We got Blitzwing, Bumblebee, Jazz, Skywarp, Wheeljack.
You only get one guess on who the bottom two characters are.
Gee, I wonder. It's not like they have It's not like they have very iconic silhouettes or anything. And now they're on the Ark.
Or one of the arcs in this version of the Transformers is that they've got numerous ships called the Ark.
Alright. And Verity is being really cantankerous and threatening to wipe all the data on the Palm Pilot. Somehow I get the feeling that's an empty threat. And I don't mean that she won't do it, I mean that she couldn't do it if she wanted to.
Oh, so you could always break it.
Two-page spread with all the Autobots. Okay. Double-page spreads. Oh, yeah, for something like Transformers, if you're showing off a whole bunch of different characters and you really want to communicate the scale, yeah, double-page spread makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, this just sells the idea that they're enormous.
Which you really don't get with later comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, actually, in your experience, how good have comics been at communicating their size?
It's usually very hard, since the majority of the comics have been between other Transformers. And when they do go out into space and meet other aliens, unless they're human, they're generally around the same size.
Well, I'm not talking about IDW comics. I mean, just in general,
Well,
even with the Marvel ones.
It was also like that in Marvel comics too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Say this. Furman's making a good move, bringing in the really popular ones.
Yeah. The popular ones are always going to be the initial cast of Autobots that woke up on Earth.
Also, is it just a coincidence that he also includes it's the same ones that are going to appear in the first movie? Because
With
aside
the
from
exception of Prowl, Sunstreaker, and Wheeljack.
oh yeah, I know, but Ironhide, Jazz, Bumblebee, and Ratchet were in the first movie too.
Yeah. Which, funny enough, Prowl was going to be in the first movie as well.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
then
that
then they gave it to, then they decided that I did on Barricade because they liked the idea of a Decepticon posing as a police car more.
yeah.
To their credit, that actually did work. Well, yeah, Ratchet's trying to go to bat for them. Prowl's not having it.
Which is funny when you look at Transformers Prime, where he was always complaining about the humans being there.
Or in Transformers Animated, where he's grouchy all the time.
Which honestly, it's pretty funny, considering that the the tech specs for Ratchet had him as a party bot.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ratchet defends his actions as, yeah, I broke protocol, but the circumstances just demanded it. And like the situation's just that serious. And of course, Prowl has to be Prowl.
He's gotta be the guy who is all about the rules.
Yeah. Why are we here? And I mean in a literal rather than existential sense. We're here to save lives.
Well, to be fair, he does have a point.
Prowl or Ratchet?
Pro. Except that it's more along the lines of following the rules than making any kind of gut.
Making any
Basically,
difference?
yeah, basically, he would be what happens if you put a Vulcan in charge of a starship.
Yeah. As much as I kind of compare him to Odo. Odo's willing to bend the rules if he thinks it's the right thing to do.
And then they decided to go from the Vulcan approach to the Garrick approach.
Where it's completely ends justify the means.
Which is probably the most weirdest thing when it comes to Prowl.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so yeah. Ratchet just trying to save lives. Oh, Prowl says you didn't. And you just put more in danger. And Ratchet's Ratchet saying, no, wasn't like that. Again, Prowl's not having any of it.
Which you can definitely say that Prowl's not making any friends with his approach.
I mean, like I think in like the Marvel comics, like he was the guy, he was the Autobot everyone liked the least, I think.
Even though he was at least at the very beginning, he was Prime's second in command.
Yeah, but it's just him being so inflexible made him hard to work with.
Yeah.
So naturally, Ratchet's going to appeal to Ironhide, who's a little bit more flexible. Well, because if the Decepticons are activating siege mode, oh, it means Megatron's involved somewhere.
If I remember correctly, the next phase would have the leaders show up.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the very least, a much more powerful asset.
And these two get attacked by Skywarp and Blitzwing. Ah, holy crap, they actually remembered Skywarp can teleport.
Yeah.
If he actually used that effectively, he'd be one of the most dangerous Decepticons ever, but he's just too stupid to do it.
And if it was Starscream involved, out of that power, he'd try to take over leadership of Decepticons multiple times a day.
Yeah. And of course, Verity's still threatening to erase the Palm Pilot's data. And Hunter and Jimmy are telling her to just shut up. And Ratchet's going to help them escape. Oh! Guess where Arc 19 is?
Well, underwater, obviously.
Specifically, it's at the bottom of Lake Michigan.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember now because I think it's I-94 that they actually have in there.
Yeah, it says they're 10 miles northeast of Chicago, so if I remember... God. Okay. Because I used to live on the west side, but that was like, I was in Grand Haven. That's like 10 miles northeast of Chicago, still like close to Illinois, right?
Probably.
Yeah, little Brett lore. I used to live in a tourist town on the west side of Michigan called Grand Haven. I put it this way, if you're on the west side, look for a town with a lighthouse. Chances are it's a nice tourist trap.
Yeah.
And they're all over the west side. So, Ratchet convinces Verity to relinquish the Palm Pilot. I guess we're going to find out what's on it that the Decepticons want so badly. And Ironhide is contacting Optimus. Alright, so what is siege mode? Decepticons are specialists in infiltration. They dig in and then slowly destabilize the geopolitical infrastructure, fomenting global anarchy. Siege mode is a protective military configuration, usually rooted during Phase 5. I've only seen it once before myself. I've only seen it once before myself, and, well, anyway, it's not good. There's a Phase 6. Trust me, you don't want to know. Phase 6 is extinction, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Alright. So the cons have 2 command bunkers, one in Oregon and the other in Nebraska. And apparently they're activating it way earlier than they're supposed to.
AK, Starscream is going rogue.
Okay. Oh, I'm guessing I think the guy who I already took the Palm Pilot from was an undercover Autobot agent. Okay, and Verity asks, why did they move? Why did they... Which is a good question. Why did they move? And Blitzwing is coming in being Blitzwing. Like, you sure that's Blitzwing? Wait, are you sure that's Blitzwing?
Yeah, he transforms into a jet.
Yeah, I see it. It's just without the purple accents, it kind of throws me off.
Yeah, understandable.
So they want to help. So they want to help. Ratchet's saying no. We laugh in the face of danger. Did I really say that? Hunter appeals to him with the siege mode thing, and Ratchet's like, oh boy, maybe, what are we going to do? My batch proto-initiator told me there'd be moments like this. And Bumblebee wants to help, because Bumblebee always wants to help out.
That's because Bumblebee is the little brother of the group.
Yep. And he's coming with them. Yep. Yep. Yep, cons are wreaking more havoc. And Starscream is still plotting.
Which he usually does.
Yep. So, issue 4. Normal cover with Starscream. Another James Faez variant. Actually, is it Faez or Faze?
Not exactly certain.
I'm going with Faez. It just sounds more right to me.
Yeah, okay.
Don't recognize this guy.
All we know is that Bumblebee has a big gun.
Yeah, he do. Well, let me have... Okay, we're at issue 4. Okay, let's have a look. Who are you? Andrew Wildman. That's who this artist is.
He is from the UK Transformers and Marvel, US Marvel Transformers.
Hmm.
He's a frequent. He frequently works with Simon Furman.
All right. Oh, the big guy is here.
Yep. Which means the Autobots are screwed.
Yep. Akron, Ohio.
No wonder she's upset all the time. She's from Ohio.
Yeah. Even though I have not lived in Michigan for over a decade, I've lived there too long to be able to say anything nice about Ohio.
Poor girl just wants to get out of Ohio. Is that too much for anyone?
Yeah. God, thank God she's getting out of. God, she's just running away from Akron. I think that's like a. Oh, God. If I remember correctly, because my dad and stepmom used to live there for a bit. They're back in Grand Rapids. That's if you want to know. Huh. Used to be the rubber capital of the world.
Oh, but why would you want to get away from that much excitement?
I'm just trying to
They
think.
produce rubber.
Thought it would have. Man, I guess it's a fairly major city. I got the impression it was like a suburb of Cleveland or something. But yeah. And now we're back in Nebraska. Not much better, but compared to Ohio, it's an upgrade.
Yeah.
Look, Nebraska's not terrible, it's just that there's nothing there but corn. Which, yeah, that's like a lot of Midwest states, but yeah. Like when people think of Illinois, they only think of Chicago, but they don't realize once you get out of there, you're just surrounded by miles and miles of cornfields. Alright. So they're investigating the old Decepticon base. And, there may or may not be booby traps in that, because of course.
Also, it's kind of funny how Bumblebee's hologram is a well-endowed woman.
Are you implying that it looks like Megan Fox?
I'm implying that Bumblebee might be a teenage boy.
2005, like they could not. Hold up. Did they give the publication date here? No. Oh, here it is. March 2006. By that, they had to have had the cast locked in at that point.
Yeah, but I think it's also because Beatles have a reputation for being as being a car for a woman.
Yeah, being a girl car. That makes sense. Yeah. That is true. Unless you're Charlie from the Bumblebee movie.
I mean, Charlie was a woman.
Yeah, but she wasn't crazy about his bumblebee mode. I mean, about his beetle mode. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, at the end, she was like more excited that he could have turned into a Camaro.
Well, I think it has more to do with the wealth association with Camaro.
Hmm.
She
All right.
could have looked like she was rich.
All right. So yeah, they're all going down. They're gonna go check it out, and we're in Dallas. The our shadowy cabal all is in Dallas.
Yep.
I hope Alabaster saw that. Okay. So yeah, there is a Mr. Dante, a Mr. Drake, a Miss Svensson, a Mr. Jolly. And they've been following the trail of destruction. Oh, now we have a name for our shadowy cabal, the Machination. And it appears they want to get their hands on Transformers technology.
They become a big part of the story when it comes to once they got an idea with the bigger storyline with certain characters from the Transformer movie.
Yeah, you know, now that I think about it, like how how much of because like at Prime had that terrorist organization Mech, and Earth Spark also had like an organization of humans that were trying to collect Transformers tech. Like I forget what they were called. Well, because I didn't watch Earth Spark. But but yeah, like humans trying to get their hands on Transformers tech. Would you say that this is sort of where this all starts?
Pretty much. I'm trying to think of whether or not there were any other times. Maybe in the
Maybe,
US comic when they had Autobots in their possession as prisoners.
I think there was also like that one mad scientist from G1 who looks like Rick from Rick and Morty.
Yeah. But he was more of an individual rather than an organization.
But yeah, because like now I think that's something that's sort of become a recurring trope in Transformers media.
Yeah, well, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, because you also got that crap. What was that? Stanley Tucci's character in Age of Extinction. You know, the guy, yeah, the tech CEO who was trying to make his own Transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're back at the Decepticon base. Snappy Meal cartons. Heh. Because you legally can't call them Happy Meals.
Nope.
God, who do you when it, you know, if you had to guess, like when it comes to playing dirty in the legal system, would it be? It's like got to be like a four-way tie between like Disney, McDonald's, Walmart, and Games Workshop.
Pretty much.
And they find some canister-looking things.
Well, you're not gonna like what's gonna be in there. Or Verity's not gonna like what's gonna be in there.
Okay, from what I know about Transformers, I'm gonna guess these are protoform pods.
Not quite. Yeah. This is when Transformers kind of became more horror.
So they've kidnapped people.
Yeah, basically that's part of the war plan. It's that they kidnap people, make clones of them to be as used to
It's like what the
destabilize.
it's like what the Dominion does in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, basically destabilize the the politics of the world and let them destroy themselves.
Bumblebee's feeling bored. Ratchet tells him to go because they're getting attacked by Skywarp and Blitzwing. You know, they kind of have a chance because these two are two of the dumbest miscons.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, if anyone doesn't know, Skywarp has a teleportation ability he barely uses. And Blitzwing once thought a football coach was a military commander. You don't remember that episode, Matt?
Oh, I do. Ish. Where do you start with Blitzwing?
I guess he's
Again, when you look at none of the Decepticons were particularly bright to begin with.
uh, Shockwave, Soundwave. Starscream is smart, it's just his ego is always his undoing.
They dumbed him down in the G1 cartoon. Shockwave was dumbed down in the G1 cartoon.
Yeah, but I don't think like that much. Alright, so yeah. Oh yeah, now they gotta get the hell out of Dodge. Problem is, if they get out of the base, they're gonna step into a war zone.
Yeah.
And if the cons keep piling on missile fire, they'll collapse the cave they have below. Bumblebee's gotta have a cool moment.
Of course, because it's Bumblebee. Everyone's favorite Autobot. Unless you're Skybound Transformers.
Second favorite. Optimus is still the most popular.
True.
He takes pot shots at Skywarp. While Ratchet goes dealing with Blitzwing. Again, not hard. He's an idiot. Unfortunately, Blitzwing can triple change. And
Yeah.
so, even though he's dumb, he's still dangerous.
Dangerous and dumb. Terrible combination at times.
In Transformers Animated, he was dangerous and insane.
Yeah.
And Verity just found Megatron.
It's a real shame what they do to him later on in IDW.
Oh, you didn't like him having a redemption arc?
It's Megatron.
Alright, issue 5. Normal cover with Megatron being grabbed. And we can guess who that arm belongs to.
Yep.
Yeah, by the way, if you guys haven't caught on yet, this was like an X-Men #1 deal. Where if you combined all the covers, it made an image. But instead of it being variants, it was spread across all the individual issues.
Which I'm pretty certain this one was, when you got Optimus Prime cover, it was for issue 6.
Oh, I bet it is. Alright. Variant cover with Starscream. Let's have a look. Oh. Let's see. This is by Guido Guidi.
Yep.
Yep. Should have known. Another Andrew Wildman. No, wait, no, that's the Andrew Wildman one.
In case you didn't know, Starscream's going to be powered up in this one.
What was that one with... Huh, wonder who did this one. Actually, huh. Hold on. Oh! Nick Roach! I should have known.
One of his earliest pieces.
Yeah, the guy that wrote and drew the most popular Transformers IDW comic. Alright. And they're bringing an Astro Train. And
Well,
Blitzwing completely kicked his ass.
yeah.
Like I said, Blitzwing might be dumb, but he's still dangerous. And B and Ratchet are still kind of up the creek. And things are not going to be much better for Jimmy, Amy Hunter, and Verity. Because they just ran into the one con you never want to run into.
Except that Megatron doesn't seem as threat.
Well, yeah, but it's like, you don't want to.
Yeah.
Scared completely stiff, and she still tries to get him on camera. and he's barely paying them paying her any attention.
I think it's because he knows that Starscream's betrayed him.
You know,
And
he honestly should be expecting that.
yeah,
You know, different Transformer shows and comics have always tried to figure out why he keeps him around. Even though he knows he's a treacherous little weasel.
well, Simon Furman did write a little moment in the Transformers Generation 2 comic where he's constantly asked, why did he bring us back Starscream? And this is right after they're betrayed by Starscream. His response is basically, because I'm an idiot, that's why.
I've also seen, like, the one reason they really like to go to is he finds his attempts to overthrow him amusing, or he needs to keep him around so that other cons know the price of what betraying him is. I think that was in the Spotlight issue, actually. That he mostly keeps Starscream around just so he can make an example out of him.
Yeah. And he does make a pretty brutal example of him in this comic.
Yeah. Now, is it gonna be as brutal as what he did to him in Cyberverse? You didn't see that, did you?
No.
Oh. Okay. In Cyberverse, like, Starscream shoots him in the back, thinks he's finally killed him, and just as they're about to take off from the moon, Megatron comes back and he just keeps beating on Starscream. Like, it is one of... Like, holy crap. For a kid's show, that is, like, very brutal.
Oh, I imagine there's been a lot of brutal acts in kids' shows over the years.
Yeah, that's... Alright. And look at that. I'll send you a link for that, but you can look at it later. Alright, so yeah.
Alright.
There's a cave-in. Verity decides time to get the hell out of here. Everybody gets the hell out. Except Jimmy and Hunter look like they're about to get out before... Or Verity. And back in Oregon... Again, Starscream is asking Astro Train to bring in something. Which we can probably guess what that is. So, yeah. The bunker's caving in. Verity's still down there. Jimmy doesn't want to leave them. I mean, Jimmy doesn't want to leave her. And holy crap, they really gotta act fast.
Oh, yeah.
B comes in, stabilizes the tree so that she can climb out. Hunter tries to help pull her out. And they all just get out by the skin of their teeth. And of course, Skywarp and Blitzwing are proud of their little handiwork. And, Megatron's out.
Yeah, and they're all in big trouble.
Of course they are.
And yeah.
Yeah, it just went. Everything just went from bad to fucked.
Especially for Skywarp at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And Blitzwing is dumbing off to think he can take Megatron.
Yep. Starscream. Meanwhile, back in Illinois.
Basically, Ironhide is in trouble, but not in the same kind of trouble as Skywarp and Star and Blitzwing.
Yep. Sorry, Prowl, but the protocol's gonna have to hang. Things just got real. And there's the big guy himself.
Oh yeah.
Another Nick Roach cover, which looks
and he is giving Starscream his what he thinks is going to happen.
Oh, now who are you? Klaus Sherwinski.
No idea.
Must have been.
Right.
Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Computer froze and then OBS crashed. Let me see if I can get this back. It's not coming out. Oh, there it is. All right. All right. Let me bring it back up. So yeah, at least it remembered where we left off. The Klaus Sherwinski cover.
Yep.
All right. And that looks like Andrew Wildman. Do 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 do. All right, we're back in Oregon. And Starscream's been up to something.
And both Runabout and
Astrotrain
are talking about how screwed they are.
Yeah, but Starscream, ever the overconfident egomaniac, doesn't think that.
Oh yeah, Starscream. Of course, he's not going to think that.
Now they're in Iowa. More corn. I-80 east on the I-80. Huh. And now Ratchet wants to drop them because apparently because this really put their lives in danger and he feels guilty about that, which yeah, I get it. And now Hunter thinks they're in over their heads. But Verity's the only one who wants to keep going.
despite how clearly traumatized he is.
Yeah, but might be time to just let the others handle this.
Yeah. Do you think Sunstreaker's hologram is just as vain as he is?
Well, yeah.
I mean, in appearance.
Don't know. Alright, so they're about to storm Oregon.
And they're about to be canceled.
And Megatron's here.
Yep. And he is completely not happy.
Oh yeah, he's like, if you've got Megatron pissed, you're dead. And now he's gonna give them the option: stand down or die. And I'm gonna
After
bet.
what he did,
Say what?
after what he did with Skywarp and Blitzwing, he's going to follow through on that.
And they're all cowardly enough to take him at his word.
Not so much cowardly as in smart, because they know they're completely outmatched.
Oh yeah. Autobots closing in. Megatron fighting Starscream, who's now powered up with that ore. I looked up to you once, I did, and then I realized it wasn't respect, it was fear. You had the power. Well, not anymore. Thanks to Ore 15, Megatron, I've evolved. Beyond you, I am the future. When you posted me to this backwater rock in space, you were sowing the seeds of your own destruction. Now reap the whirlwind.
Oh, Starscream never changed.
He is absolutely power tripping bad.
Oh, yeah.
Finished. No! I've taken your measure, Starscream, and for the first time, found it wanting. And then is it run amok or run about?
I think it's runabout.
Well, he spots Bumblebee. And the other Autobots finally arrive.
And of course, it's JS with a one-liner.
Squirt he may be, but he's our Squirt. You should be dead. This isn't how it happens. This command is a disgrace, Starscream. Your security compromised by a human, no less. You failed to contain the data and unforgivably placed your own interests above those of the Imperium. At least now. What? Take your punishment like a Decepticon. Of course, he's not dead. He's gonna be in more comics.
Yeah, they're not gonna kill him off that quickly.
Take him inside, see if he'll remain. If he do the remains if he lives, then I'll decide what to do with him. What about them? Phase 2.
Honestly, after what they just saw, not going after the subconscious is a smart idea.
Yeah. I mean, they're all good, but they're not that good.
Yep.
back in Lake Michigan. And the Mecha Nation is still watching them.
Yep.
What are the humans doing out? There's a local expression, Sunstreaker. Something about equine life forms and they egress from their given habitation.
Of course, Sunstreaker doesn't get it.
I don't even get it. Like something about... All I got is something about horses. Take a horse out of the barn? Like,
Basically, they'll do what they want to do in their own habitation.
Oh, you can... Oh, you can take a horse out of the wild, but you can't take the wild out of the horse.
Yeah, pretty much.
And... There's Optimus Prime. At the final freaking page of this miniseries. And he doesn't even get a line.
This and unlike Luke Skywalker, Optimus Prime isn't going to have a disappointing continuation.
Yeah. Okay. So. I guess this is where we get into the review part of this comic. So, for the overall story,
honestly, it's not as bad as Transformers Prime Directive from Dreamwave, where that was also a human-heavy story. But even though you got Optimus Prime in a larger capacity in Prime Directive, you didn't feel dirty, but you didn't feel like the Autobots were dirty by the fact that they're being mind controlled by a guy who's, you know what? Going back to the previous, what you said previously about secret organizations taking Transformers tech.
Yeah.
The first Transformers miniseries from Dreamwave involved a guy salvaging Transformers, mind controlling them, and selling them to various terrorists in the world. So yeah, you did see in Infiltration Autobots indiscriminately killing humans because they're under control of a terrorist.
Okay, I mean, like, that's a stupid idea, but, I mean...
Exactly.
Well, duh. Well, duh, yeah, but... Okay, like... I don't know, I feel like it's kind of a mixed bag. Like, for setting up this new universe, it's doing that pretty well. But there were also, like, various cartoons that, and like, even, like, the Marvel Comics or Skybound do a better job as being an introduction. Like,
Well, this comic doesn't treat it like the Transformers are this new property like the Marvel Comics had to. So what Simon Furman could do was essentially introduce this new universe without needing to have too much focus on the various characters. Because you know who. Basically, you got the characters acting the way they are, and you're reading Transformers comics, you're gonna know who these Generation 1 characters are. And if they're acting the way that they are presented in the cartoon or previous comics, they're going to be. You're not going to need to do a whole lot of character building in the first storyline.
Yeah. You know, I mean, like, having human characters to be, like, the audience POV, that's not a bad idea. In fact, lots of them do that. That's probably, like, the best way to introduce, to get an introduction to Transformers, anything, really. Really, with some exceptions, like Beast Wars. But yeah. Like, I understand what it's doing. Like it's sort of building everything slowly. It's a slow burn, and once it's teasing all these things that are gonna happen, and it does deliver on that. I mean, like, fuck. Once Verity found Megatron, like, that's when you know, oh my god, things are actually getting serious. But I mean, like, I'm kind of thinking of this like if you're a Transformers fan and you come into this, I'm wondering if you're gonna feel like you got, if you were going in expecting one thing and you wound up getting something else.
It's possible. Well, I have to say that the trio in this series are better than any of the human characters you got from the live action series.
I mean, that's a pretty low bar.
And I think I like them better than the Transformers Prime humans.
Yeah, I mean, those kids were often cited as the weakest part of the show, which is why they didn't focus on them that much.
Yeah, but it also has to do with the problem of being a show for kids. In a way, I guess the infiltration showed its age by having teenage characters who were more mature, similar to how Spike was handled in G1. Or Buster in the comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, this is... Yeah, I mean, like... You probably don't want to give this to like, a 10-year-old boy. Like, it's probably a bit too... It might be a bit too mature for them, and when I say mature, I don't mean, it's violent, or, there's boobs, there's swearing. I mean, like, this is going to require you to this is a comic that kind of requires you to sort of be willing to trust where it's going.
Yeah.
And be willing to be patient with it. So it's sort of made with a much older audience in mind.
If it's anything, it's largely because of the T1 designs.
True.
They know they're not selling any toys with Generation 1 characters at the time.
Nowadays, they won't sell anything but G1 designs.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I also said this, the art wasn't that impressive. I mean, the actual Transformers look good, but in some of the coloring's fine, but that's really the best thing I can say about the artwork in this comic. It's just fine. It's not like Don Figueroa or hell, even Nick Roach.
Yeah, by the way, Don Figueroa has been will be in the and will be used for the next one.
Yeah, oh, good. Oh, that's very good. But yeah, like, so yeah, I mean, like I said, the art's not bad. Just, you know, it could look worse, but it could look better too.
Yeah. Also, Stormbringer is the first time the records are in the IDW universe.
Yeah, that's another show. So, okay, so before I cut you off there, what it looked like you were gonna talk about the overall package.
Well, overall, it does give more depth to how the Transformers fight their wars. It implements their ability to transform as a way of fighting
Like,
this war
like
on
it, yeah,
multiple worlds.
it actually uses the robots in disguise part,
Yep.
which again, if anyone's familiar with the alternate treatment of the G1 cartoon, as flawed as it was, at least could deliver on that.
Some would say it was very flawed. I think
Yeah,
the only recognizable character was Optimus Prime.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm not gonna say that, hey, that we missed out on anything, but the G1 cartoon did sort of fail to live up to the robots in disguise tagline.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sake, it's right in this theme song. Yeah, but yeah, this sort of brings in a more slow burn, a more stealthy, more kind of a. I almost want to say it has sort of a Tom Clancy techno thriller vibe to it, but it doesn't get that deep into the weeds with the tech and everything. But it's kind of got that same slow burn approach. It's like if you've read a Tom Clancy novel, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Or at the very least seen a Tom Clancy movie.
Yeah. So, I guess yeah. Yeah, like I said, like overall, like as much of a mixed bag as it is, I think you also have to temper your expectations with the audience this is intended for. It is made for a. This is not a good intro point if you're like a kid. You're better off just starting with one of the cartoons. And if you're already deep into Transformers, and you just. Whereas this is kind of made for that audience, like people who already know it. Just say that's accurate.
Yeah. It. I definitely can say that about how it's going with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. If you can find a trade paperback and you're already a fan, and would you say this is a must own?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's it's honestly what they try to do with the opening Dreamwave miniseries, but failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't try to take too much liberty with the characters. If basically you're going in, Starscream's gonna be the backstabber and all that. Furman, I think, likes. I would prefer to keep Ratchet the way he was portrayed in the Marvel comics rather than the Transformers version of Dr. McCoy.
Eh. Yeah. I liked him in Animated in Prime, though.
Yeah. I think there's definitely certain ways. I think you could tell who worked on Marvel Transformers comics and who didn't by how the characters are written, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Alright, so... Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, if you're already a seasoned Transformers fan, or if you happen to also really like Simon Furman's stuff, you should definitely own this.
It's also going to be the first time where Unicron and Primus were not meant to be in the universe.
Yeah, although they later found some kind of sort of inventive ways to include them anyway.
Yeah. If only Unicron had destroyed the entire universe.
Alright, so. Alright, so. I guess we got to talk about the next one next week.
Stormbringer.
Really, Stormbringer's the next one?
Yep. Basically, because everyone was complaining about the human having too much of the human angle on infiltration, Simon Furman had to go and write a story that was set on Cybertron just before Optimus Prime gets the message from Ironhide.
Alright. Yeah, that should be fun. So yeah, we'll see you next week with Stormbringer.